Alright, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Akeen and welcome to today's vlog. The 2013 college football season finally kicks off this upcoming Thursday. We are just less than a week away and I am so excited. Now for today's vlog, I'm here to talk about week 1 of this season, giving you all my key games that you need to look at as well as my predictions. Now I usually do things early, a little later in the week, around Monday or Wednesday of next week, but I will be on vacation headed to the Caribbean and I will not be in the States. So I decided to post this video earlier just in case I'm not able to post this during my vacation where I'm taking a cruise to the Eastern Caribbean. Now I'm going to start things off with all the key games on Thursday. UNC is going to be traveling to South Carolina to face the number 16 ranked team in the nation, South Carolina Gamecocks. Now this is going to be an interesting matchup because UNC has a pretty good offense led by quarterback Bryn Renner, and he has his two leading targets returning from last season, Quinshard Davis and tight end Eric Ebron. Two good leading targets for North Carolina, but they're playing against a tough defense from South Carolina, and that is going to be very key in this matchup because they have a star and a stud in Jadeveon Clowney. He is actually preseason first team All-American, and he's actually recommended, and a lot of people are predicting to winning a lot of postseason awards as a defensive player of the year. Now Brent Winter's going to have to keep an eye on him. He has to evade the sacks, and I think the offensive line is going to be key in this matchup in stopping Jadeveon Clowney from getting to the quarterback. Brent Winter's going to have to throw that football a lot faster and not take too much time in that pocket. That's going to be key for this matchup. But I still think South Carolina's defense is going to be way too much for North Carolina's offense, and I think that the offense from South Carolina is going to do well enough against that defense for North Carolina, who's been struggling last season, and I think they're going to prevail with a victory. Next game we need to talk about on Thursday, Ole Miss is going to be traveling to Vanderbilt to face the Commodores. Now last season Vandy won 27-26, a close game, but I think with the experience returning for Ole Miss, I think they'll be due for a victory in this one. They lost Vanderbilt lost their quarterback in Jordan Rogers, even though they still have their star receiver in Jordan Matthews. I don't think he's going to perform well enough against this Ole Miss team who has a lot of great incoming freshmen, as I mentioned in previous videos. I think they're going to do well enough with that experience returning to this team and the good freshman class. I think they're going to have a good game against the Commodores, opening up a good SEC victory. Last game we need to talk about on Thursday at 10:30. Rutgers is going to be traveling to Fresno State to face the Bulldogs. Now this is going to be an interesting matchup because this could be an upset alert. This is going to be between quarterbacks Gary Nova from Rutgers and Derek Carr from Fresno State. But because of the key losses defensively for Rutgers, I think that Fresno State is going to win this matchup. Headed towards Saturday's matchup, I have another upset alert in this matchup. And the first matchup I need you guys to talk about, Mississippi State's going to be traveling to Oklahoma State. This game is going to actually be played at a neutral site in Houston. Now Oklahoma State, they have a lot of great players returning off offense, especially Clint Shelf, who's going to be starting at the quarterback position, and they have a good running back in Jeremy Smith. I think this offense is going to do well, but I think that defense is going to have to step it up this season, and which they did do last season. They started off pretty bad, but they actually progressed as the season went on. And I think this defense is going to perform well this year, even though this game could be an upset alert because Ole Miss is returning a fifth-year senior in Tyler Russell, as well as a good running back in Ladarius Perkins. But on the defensive side, they lost two great secondary players in Darius Slay as well as Jonathan Banks. But they did pick up Justin Cox out of Junco College. I think he could be a good replacement for either of those two players, but I don't think they're going to perform well enough defensively because of those key losses. And I think that Oklahoma State is still going to pull this win, but Mississippi State can pull this upset. Next game we need to talk about, Alabama is going to be playing, the number 1 team in the nation is going to be playing against Virginia Tech. Now this game is going to be played at Atlanta, another neutral site game, and I think because Alabama's preseason number 1 and they have so many returning starters on offense, I think their passing game is going to improve a lot, and I think they're going to have a great dominating receiving corps across the country in college football. This team I have them winning the national championship, and they're going to start off with a victory over Virginia Tech. Next game we need to talk about, Washington State's going to be traveling to Auburn to face the Tigers. Now this is going to be the new tenure for Auburn, and head coach Gus Malzahn, I think he's going to open up with a victory against a slackened and a terrible team in the Washington Cougars. I think that the Tigers will prevail in this matchup. Another game that could be an upset alert, Oklahoma's the number 16 ranked team in the nation is going to be hosting Louisiana Monroe. Now the reason why I had to call this game out, because last season the Warhawks actually upsetted Arkansas, and they nearly upsetted Auburn in last season when they played Auburn and Arkansas back to back. And I think they could do the same for OU, because we have to replace a lot of players on the defensive side, and they have a new quarterback. Now at the quarterback position, Trevor Knight is going to be starting at quarterback over Blake Bell, because he outperformed him during the spring and the summer, and he's definitely overall a better passer than Blake Bell. So Trevor Knight is going to be starting at quarterback for the OU Sooners. Now for Louisiana Monroe, they have a pretty good quarterback in Colton Browning, who had 29 touchdown passes and just 10 interceptions last season to pass for over 3,000 yards. And I think he could orchestrate an upset at OU, but I don't think it's going to be enough because of the talent overall that still goes to the Oklahoma Sooners. I think they're going to win because of that talent, even though they lost a lot of key players, particularly on the defensive side. Next game I need to talk about, another neutral site between these two this is going to be a good game to watch. TCU, the number 20 ranked team in the nation, is facing number 12 LSU. Now for this game, this is going to be a hard prediction, but I'm going to stick with LSU with this one. They still lost a lot of key players on the defensive side, but TCU, they're actually still on the national spotlight. They have a couple great players defensively with Devontae Fields and Jason Varnett, as well as Casey Paul returning at the starting quarterback position for the Horned Frogs. They can definitely pull the upset in this one, but I think that LSU and Cam Cameron offensive coordinator Cam Cameron is going to have a good year coaching and utilizing Zach Mettenberger. I think Mettenberger is going to have a better season as he did last year. Next game we need to talk about, number 22 Northwestern is going to be traveling to California to face the Bears. Now the reason why I call this game out, because the Bears actually have a true freshman at quarterback in Zach Klein. And for Northwestern, a lot of high expectations for the Wildcats, and I think they're going to start this season off with a win. They're actually ranked 22nd in the nation. Next game we need to talk about, Wyoming is going to be traveling to Nebraska to face the number 18 Nebraska Cornhuskers. Now this could be another upset, but I'm still going to stick with Nebraska. Wyoming has a good quarterback in Brett Smith, and they're playing against a defense who's been struggling, especially down the stretch at the end of the game for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They gave up 150 points in those last two games. 70 points to Wisconsin in that Big Ten championship, which was an embarrassment, as well as 45 points in their bowl loss to Georgia. And I think they're going to have to start off this season off with a big bang, with a good victory against a good quarterback from the Wyoming Cowboys. Next game we need to talk about, Pitt is going to be hosting Florida State, the number 11th ranked team in the nation. Pittsburgh, this is the first season in the ACC conference, and they're starting off against a great Florida State team. Now for Pittsburgh, they have a new quarterback, an experienced quarterback in Tom Savage, who transferred from Rutgers, so that's actually good news for them, but I don't think he's going to perform well against this good Florida State defense, and I think their offense is going to have a good game. Pittsburgh is going to get dominated and have a rude awakening in this ACC conference. Upset pick of the week I need to talk about next. My upset pick of the week, I'm going to go with Washington over number 19 Boise State. Now Washington, the Huskies, they are returning a lot of key players offensively, and I think with the talent of Keith Price, if he just get back to the 2011 form that we saw 2 years ago, I think that this Washington Husky team can make a run in the Pac-12 conference and possibly win a Pac-12 championship. But we will see, and we will all see how well they perform throughout this season, starting with this performance against a good Bronco defense. But I still think that Washington is going to pull off the upset, even though the Broncos do have a good defense and they are ranked in the nation. And last but not least, my game of the week. Probably one of the top 5 biggest games entering this season. And this is between number 5 Georgia at number 8 Clemson. Now the question mark that everybody has for Georgia is their defense. They lost a lot of key stars, particularly in Bakari Rambo as well as Jarvis Jones. They're no longer with the team. They're in the National Football League, and they had a lot of those key losses defensively. But on the offensive side, they're pretty much straight. They still have their star quarterback and senior Aaron Murray, who could be the SEC Player of the Year and even make a run for the Heisman Trophy, as well as running back Todd Gurley, who like a lot of people have high hopes and comparing him to Heisman Trophy winner from Georgia, Herschel Walker. I think that Gurley's going to be having a good season, but I think this is going to be a tough matchup against the Clemson Tigers. Now my pick for this matchup, I'm going to have to go with Clemson in this one because their defense, they're returning a lot of key starters on defense. I think their defense is going to improve this season, and Dabo Swinney is looking to make it to the national championship and go undefeated. And I think that Clemson has a better opportunity because of the experience and the returns restarting on the defensive side. Now Taj Boyd is going to do his thing throwing the football. I think they're going to run the football effectively. I think that Sharon Peak is going to step up at the receiver position opposite Sammy Watkins, and I think it would be just enough to edge out and escape against the Georgia Bulldogs. So I'm going to have to go with the Clemson Tigers over Georgia as in my game of the week. Now, the next time I'm going to catch you guys is on Monday, actually on Tuesday, not this upcoming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday after my vacation, where I will give you a recap of all of the games that happened in week 1 of the college football season. See you guys then, unless I'll try to post you guys a video during my vacation, but we will see. I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you for watching today's vlog. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.